If you guys didn't watch the Apple event last night,
Whoa.
it was the best Apple event I've ever watched in my entire fucking life. Entire life. It was awesome, 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 awesome. Sick. I've never seen an Apple event like that. Everything from the intro to the outro to the cutscenes to the music in between. I mean, it was just the transitions in between. It was sick. And did they produce the goods or did they produce the goods? Like every other YouTuber said already, I mean, there's so much to speak about. There is so much to fucking speak about. Let's get into it. Make sure to hit the like and the subscribe. It helps my channel grow. Okay, so first there was this a rather sick intro that I just had to show all of you for the Unleashed event. It was like a countdown timer. And okay, so I mean, I haven't seen effort from Apple's side for an intro like this. It was crazy. Unleashed for real. I mean, the amount of effort put into this intro was insane. And then, of course, first up was music plan, voice plan for Apple iTunes. It works with Siri. You can only order it with Siri. And then, of course, it was some beautiful homeboard menus in new colors, if you're a fan of homeboards. And then, of course, the much anticipated AirPods 3, which replaces the outgoing AirPods 2. And of course, I mean, Apple is quite amped about this because, I mean, the price goes up slightly, and with this they have software support and hardware support for Dolby Atmos and spatial audio. Super cool. And of course, longer battery life and adaptive EQ, and of course capacitive touch with the force sensor. It's a lot like the and of course new bass drivers and new speaker systems. And of course, I mean, this is a lot like the AirPod Pro, just without the silicone buds, and of course adaptive EQ. Yeah, so I mean, now announced notification of series, longer battery life, new Apple custom driver, and of course comes at $179, ordered today and available next week. Joins the rest of the AirPod. And then the biggest announcement is the M1 chips. So we start off with the M1 Pro chips. Of course, it shows the outdated GPU and discrete GPU and CPU system, and how they've all integrated all into a single die, a single system on a chip, and the 200 gigabyte per second memory bandwidth across the bit between the chip and the RAM and the GPU and devices. I mean, that gives you a 200 megabyte. Okay, cool. So this comes with 33.7 billion transistors, and then of course the M1 Pro comes with 10 core CPU, 8 performance cores, 2 high efficiency cores, and up to 70% faster than the prior M1, which is utterly insane. A 16 core GPU and a 24 core GPU option as well, and 2 times faster GPU performance than the M1. It's got a dedicated media engine with ProRes encoder and a decoder, and you can do multiple streams of 4K and 8K ProRes. It's also got a display engine where you can output a lot of outputs to many displays, up to 32 gigs RAM, neural engine, and then of course here's the beast of the beasts. This is the M1 Max. Considerably larger, 400 gigabyte per second memory bandwidth, which is utterly insane. 64 gigs RAM, DDR5, 57 billion transistors on a single system on chip. Almost, I'd say, at least 30% bigger than the M1 Pro. 10 core, also 8 efficiency, 8 and 2 high efficiency, 2 core GPU. 4 times faster GPU performance in the M1. Also a dedicated media engine, but this has double the video encoders and decoders. And of course the CPU performance, you can see it's insane. Look at the specs on this, it's sick. And of course the new Mac OS, which of course makes efficient the system on chip to work with the RAM in a very efficient manner. Nothing is copied and pasted between the CPUs and GPUs. 20 times faster machine learning performance, and of course all the apps run natively on Pro, and there's Rosetta 2, and of course all the iPhone and iPad applications will now run on your Mac. 10 times faster Pro, 10,000 universal apps. All the codes, all the prior apps have been written to now into a universal code package, which I don't know, universal code instead of Xcode, which is a bit silly, but anyway. And this brings us to the newly redesigned MacBook, now with MagSafe. It's only got 4 Thunderbolt ports, HDMI, and a high impedance headphone output. Thinner bezels. It's of course largest. It's a larger screen. It's a slightly heavier and slightly thicker than the prior MacBook. But I mean, if you're getting such computational power, do you even mind? You don't mind the overhead of weight, the overhead of thickness, of size. Of course, twin fans, which apparently the fans you don't hardly even use the fans. I mean, especially when it's doing heavy even on heavy tasks. Backlit keyboard. They've replaced the touch bar with a full set of function keys. 24% thinner side bezels, and of course this is the big thing, the notch. So a 3.5mm top bezel, and then of course included with the bezel is a notch. 7.7 million pixel on a mini LED screen. There's a liquid retina display, XDR display, so 5.9 million pixels on the and then a huge one is ProMotion. Finally they're bringing ProMotion to the laptops. Liquid retina XDR display with ProMotion. It's gonna be so sick, all the way from 120 hertz right down till 10 hertz, depending on what you're viewing, depending on what you're watching. 1000 nits of sustained brightness. I think it's got 1600 nits of peak brightness, and 10 million to 1 a million to 1 contrast ratio. They upgraded the camera to 1080p HD camera with a bigger aperture, twice the low light performance. This camera is going to be beautiful for any laptop. It's going to be the best. I think this will be the best camera on any laptop so far. And of course, with all the neural engines, 3 mic arrays, studio quality mic arrays and a 60% noise floor. I mean, this will be superb. For music creation, for sampling, it's going to be superbly sick. In fact, at one stage I wanted to get an NVIDIA laptop just because of the neural engine software that actually takes place on the software side on the audio side, which brings the signal to noise ratio down to quite a bit. And then of course there's got spatial audio with Dolby Atmos. So this will be beautiful for a lot of music creators, a lot of content creators. It's got a 6-speaker sound system with 4 subwoofers and 2 tweeters. Insane. I presume this is going to be the best sounding audio ever. I mean, you can see the graphics performance 4 times faster, machine learning 5 times faster than the old Core i9. CPU performance 3.7 times faster than the old i7. Graphics performance 13 times faster than the old i7. And then of course 64 gigs unified memory, up to 30 streams of 4K ProRes Fortitude at a single edit. 7 streams of 8K ProRes, 7.4 gigabits per second SSD, DDR4 SSD, superbly fast. 17 hours of video playback, 21 hours of video playback on the 16-inch. And of course charges 50% in 30 minutes with the fast charge. MacBook Pro, I mean, of course it goes without saying with the recycled program and less and being more energy efficient. And I had to show you this, I had to include this. This is the most sickest thing. We're going to hear this for a while.
We've created something wild, draws everything in, moving silently, night and day, into the deepest blacks and brightest lights. Its eye, razor sharp. Its sound, deafening. Pretty. Dangerous. So why would anyone give this beast more power? You'd have to be reckless. What have we done? And more importantly, what will you do?
How insane was that animation? Even for Apple, that was incredibly insane. One of the best product animations I've ever seen to date. MacBook Pro starts at 1,999 for the 14-inch, and then of course for the 16-inch starts at 2,499. I'm going to be doing a video with speccing out all the laptops, all the MacBooks, so stay tuned for that. Make sure you subscribe. That was the Apple event. I mean, a lot to look forward to. I'm going to be making a video on speccing out or pre-ordering the new MacBook Pro, and the prices and all the nuances and the variations to the MacBook Pro lineup. And of course, thanks always for watching, and make sure if you haven't subscribed or hit the like button, make sure to do that, and I'll see you in the next video in a few hours.